right now. Today is the day that you choose to change the rest of your life. It is time to turn your setback into the greatest comeback story ever told, and nobody is more capable than you. This is the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, the future #1 weight loss podcast in the world. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please subscribe and spread the word of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast wherever you are and to whomever will listen. If you'd like to connect on social media or wherever else, check out my Linktree page, Linktree/the Ranting Weight Watcher. Let's connect today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 188 of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you to the show. If you enjoy it, please consider subscribing. If the app that you're using to listen to the show allows you to review the show or rate the show, please consider leaving a 4-star or 5-star rating, and please consider writing a review about the show. When you do this, you update the algorithm, and anybody using the same app as you to listen to the show who's looking for a weight loss related podcast, you would cause the Ranting Weight Watcher just to show up just a little higher on that list and exposing the podcast to more eyes. We have a new financial supporter for the podcast. I want to thank you so much, Kathy. And thank you so much to all of the financial subscribers to the podcast. Your investment in this podcast, in its growth, it means the world to me. I don't take it lightly. This is a big deal that you would invest your time and money to listen and to support the show financially. If you are interested in becoming a financial supporter of the podcast, in the description of every podcast, there is a Linktree link. If you click that Linktree, it will take you to another website where I have a bunch of links all together in one spot, and you will see Become a Financial Supporter. You can click that and then choose your options from there. Well, I got lots to talk about. Let's get into this! Journey updates. I haven't reported a weight result to you guys in the last 2 weeks because of the redemption group, so here we go. Over the past 2 weeks, I'm down 2.6 pounds. You know, I think it's something to recognize my work ethic in this moment, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I want to point something out to you guys here that just how much it takes to do what I do here. In the process of introducing a new lifestyle of eating, which is carnivore lifestyle, I went through a point that I had 3 gains in a row. This started on April 20th. April 20th, April 27th, and May 4th. 3 gains in a row. The total amount gained in that time was 2 pounds. Not a terrible amount. But being in an experimental phase in my journey, I am sure a lot of people would have backed off right away and said, hey, look, no, can't keep this going. It's not working. And so essentially, I watched the scale go up for 3 weeks in a row. It went up a total of 2 pounds. I didn't lose faith in what I was doing because I know the work ethic applied to it. And I also know that if I'm going to give an experiment time to develop, I have to recognize that the results might not show what I'm hoping they would show right away, especially because the changes I'm making literally have nothing to do with the scale, even though the scale kind of goes down as a byproduct of it. The changes I've made to transition to a carnivore lifestyle are more about healing of my body than they are about weight loss. I don't know that I would ever recommend a carnivore lifestyle to someone who just needed to lose weight. But if someone wanted to figure out why they were sick, Like if you got some diagnosis and you were trying to figure out if it was food that you were sensitive to, the one thing you could do is the carnivore lifestyle. And the reason you can do this is it's literally one thing. It is said that it is the cleanest elimination diet of all of the ways you can try and figure it out. I mean, in the end, I think it's paying off. As I stand here right now, I started the idea of transitioning to carnivore with sores on my scalp that I can't really tell how many are there because my hair is in the way. I had one sore on each arm and 2 sores on my right leg. As I have been transitioning, and I'm not even fully carnivore yet, I essentially have one sore left on my leg, and the other sore is almost completely healed. There's just this tiny little bit left that needs to heal up, and the leg will be sore-free. There are 2 tiny spots on my left arm left from the sore that was there, and nothing on the right arm. Again, I can't tell how much is on my scalp, but I can only assume if I continue the way I'm going, based on the results I got so far, my scalp will heal as well. And it's just going to take time. How do you have faith in yourself in these moments if you don't have the work ethic? It's pretty impossible. It's pretty impossible. You will always doubt yourself if you don't change the work ethic. There's a lot into it. And a lot of it is building consistency in the behavior. And I tell you guys, perfection is not required. That consistency is required. And I have told you guys that if you can manage to do everything correctly 97% of the time, the other 3% will not matter. I stand by that. I never veer from that. I still operate this way today. I am down 183 pounds just by following this method. Perfection is not necessary and basically unattainable. So, if you can be consistently good, like 97% of the time, the other 3% won't matter. But how do you get that far? You make a plan and you execute. I have it all laid out. If there's new listeners and you're interested, if you go to the rantingweightwatcher.com, there is the checklist challenge. And this checklist challenge is a document you can download and print out. And following it, you can introduce any behavior you want. It doesn't have to be just weight loss related either. Literally anything you want to adapt. This is a skeleton of how to make things consistent in your life. When you are consistent, it comes with confidence. And if you have confidence, there isn't a thing you won't try to do, including making extreme measures to chase other forms of success. Knowing what you guys know about nutrition, someone who adopts the carnivore lifestyle is essentially telling every doctor on the planet, I'm doing the exact opposite of what you told me to do. That's essentially what you're telling everyone. I don't know if losing weight alone is strong enough to want to do something like this. It has to be something more. It has to be about healing something that a doctor tells you can only be managed. There's no cure for this. It can only be managed. And then you end up on some medication for the rest of your life, and money is flying out the door. And it's not anything that won't cause even more problems. Because with every medication comes side effects. And when the side effects come, what do? They don't take you off the medication. They just add more. It is not a healthcare system anymore. It's a sick care system. Think about it. If you achieved optimal health, how often would you need a doctor? How often would they get paid for anything? If 97% of the people on the planet suddenly started following what I say, not necessarily in the carnivore lifestyle, but making a healthy choice 97% of the time. If 97% of the people started making good choices 97% of the time, what do you think would happen to their health? And what would you think would happen to the visit count of a physician office? It would change drastically, right? This is why I could say what I say, because I have nothing to gain from you believing it. You could not believe it. You could call me a kook. You could think I'm nuts. I don't care. When money is involved, the people telling you what you should do, you have to understand that their best interest is making sure they still have money. The same way a psychologist, when you go to see them, there is no get you out of here or you're done. We worked out all your issues. It's just something you do. Do you understand what I'm telling you? They don't want to lose the business. They want to keep you essentially for the rest of your life. Look, we live in a world that the most profitable patient is one that can be diagnosed with a chronic condition very, very early in life. Now, I ask you, is there any wonder why childhood diabetes is so much astronomically higher right now than it has ever been in years past? That will bring profits for many, 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 many years to come. To put someone on medication at the end of their life will not bring as much profit as putting someone at the very beginning of their life and keeping them for many years. Chronic disease has never been higher in this country. We have all of these tools. We have gyms on every corner. We have vitamin shops everywhere on the planet. We have places to go buy supplements and all these things. We have all kinds of medical breakthroughs. And yet, we have never been more unhealthy in all of our years in this country. 80% of the population of the United States of America is either overweight or obese. Look, you could not like me saying that, but that's the truth. That's what I do here. If you don't like that, then there's other places you can go and get a warm and fuzzy feeling. That's not what this is about. My goal is to impart to you everything that I learn the minute I learn it. And the trust that the majority of you put in people that have everything to gain and everything to lose based on how you make your health choices, the amount of trust you put in those people is astounding to me. Maybe it's just the person I am. I don't know. I always follow the money. I always see, what does this person have to gain from me listening to them? They gain a permanent customer. I mean, the skin condition I have does not have a cure. It can only be managed. And their answer to that is to give me medication that shuts down my immune system. The God-given system that was put in place to make me feel better when I get sick, that's what they wish to do. So they're taking a disease that can't be cured anyway, and they're shutting down the immune system to essentially put the disease to sleep. They can't cure it, right? That's what I'm telling you. That's what they told me. It cannot be cured. It can only be managed. And their choice in the matter of how to cure it or how to manage it is to shut down the God-given system and make the gates of hell open for every other sickness on the planet to come after me. Okay, this skin condition is asleep, but I'm exposed to every other ailment in the process. That's the treatment method of my condition. And they think what I'm doing is extreme. They want to open the gates of hell to every ailment on the planet and make me essentially the bubble boy. And what I'm doing is extreme. Do you see how backwards that sounds? I'm essentially achieving results without being on immunosuppressant drugs. And what did I do? I gave up food that was killing me anyway. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. I now present to you the Ranting Weight Watcher Accountability Creed. If you choose this day to say this creed, you are accountable to me, the author. You are also accountable to all of those before you who have taken the creed, and all of those after you who will take the creed. But most of all, you are accountable to yourself. Now recite with me the Accountability Creed. Nothing can stand in my way because I choose to be unstoppable. My challenges crumble in my presence because I choose strength when I am weak. My insecurities have no power over my life because I choose confidence in the face of fear. I own every last one of my mistakes because I choose growth over mediocrity. The mirror and the scale are powerless because I move forward in spite of the result. Circumstances are not obstacles because I see solutions instead of problems. The demons of my past can no longer torment me because I choose to renew my mind daily. All things are possible as long as I believe, because if God is for me, who can be against me? This is the creed I declare each day. It is about what I do, not what I say. I will learn the work that needs to be done. I will never stop, even when I've won. I will work consistently, no matter the cost. I refuse to believe that all hope is lost. I will work when I want to. I will work when I don't. I will work when they are cheering. I will work when they won't. I will work when it's easy. I will work when it's hard. The atonements that I've made are made with no regard. I will work when it's cold. I will work when it's hot. Because choices have consequences, justified or not. When I think I know it all, I will start back at one. Because regardless of what I think, the work is never done. And from this moment forward, when times are tough, I choose to believe that I am enough. And we are back. Thanks for sticking with me. We need to wake up in this country. We need to understand that the people telling us what's good for us have way too much to gain from us being sick for us to trust them for what they say. And I don't know how much more needs to be said or how much more needs to be done for you guys all to start waking up and realizing that. Everything in this world, the way it's set up, if you open your eyes, they want you to eat a certain way. They want you to get sick a certain way. They want you to get treated a certain way. And they want you to die a certain way. The way you die is broke. They want to make sure you have been drained of all resources when you're dead. That there's nothing generational that can be passed on. So the amount of funds they can drain from you in the process is essentially endless if you're following their capabilities. Again, I have nothing to gain. I'm not telling you not to go see doctors ever again. I have nothing to gain from telling you this. I'm saying that the world, the system this world runs on, is ass backwards. And all they need to do is make you afraid of something to make sure you stayed away from it. They have the world afraid of red meat. They stuffed Doritos down their mouth, Cheetos, all of these things with all kinds of chemicals that people can't even pronounce. They eat items that they are told are food with 40 and 50 and 60 ingredients. But you're afraid of red meat. How ass backwards is that? We need to wake up. We need to understand that when a book that's thousands of years old tells you the love of money is the root of all evil, and you can literally see it displayed anywhere you look. Anywhere you look. You go on social media, the ads you see on social media are all designed to be there by people who have designed the system to make sure you only see ads that they know you will most likely purchase. We all go to the same Facebook. But that Facebook knows what I like as much as it knows what you like. Do you want to know how much it knows? Let me tell you a story. I went on Facebook one day and I see all kinds of stuff on Facebook, advertisements and all these things. I saw a t-shirt and the t-shirt had basically the shape of Florida. The way the state of Florida is shaped, it's the silkscreen of the shirt. Okay? And inside the state of Florida, there was the 49ers logo. Any of you who have been listening to me any amount of time knows I am a diehard 49ers fan. And if you know also by watching walk videos and everything else, I'm also a diehard Yankees fan. So tell me if you can't guess what was behind the state of Florida. The New York Yankees NY symbol was behind the state of Florida. The state of Florida was draped across that NY. And inside the state of Florida were the red and gold San Francisco emblem. Tell me that social media isn't designed to give you exactly what you're looking for, even though you don't know you're looking for it. Everything is designed this way. The entire world is designed to make sure you die broke. Buying a bunch of unnecessary stuff and in the process killing yourself with a bunch of other unnecessary other stuff. They teach you that food is normal with 40 and 50 and 60 ingredients, yet those same foods in other countries have completely different ingredient lists. Why? Why does Fanta soda have a different ingredient list in other countries than it does in America? Why does Kellogg's cereals have different ingredients than it does in this country and then in UK and any other country? Because those ingredients that they use in this country are banned in other countries. That's why. They teach you that that is food. That's okay. That's great. That's a part of a well-balanced breakfast. And then they tell you something like red meat is dangerous. Raw milk is dangerous. The same people that have nothing but reasons to sell you a line of bullshit. I don't know if I ever get through with messages like this. I want nothing more than for all of you to learn what I've learned. You don't even have to go as extreme as carnivore. I'm not even promoting that to everyone. I am doing it myself. That's it. I don't tell anyone they should do it. But what I do tell everyone they should do is if you eat 10 items a day, let's say from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you ate 10 items. Your goal in this world, in your lifetime, should be however many items you eat in a day, the ingredient list should equal it. That should be your goal. And if you could come to within 4 or 5, whatever, you're doing really freaking good. Let me tell you, because the amount of ingredients in just one of the things that we are told is normal food. You could eat one thing and eat 40 ingredients, 50 ingredients, 60 ingredients, and think it's normal. How about one food equals one ingredient? If you guys could just manage that, your lives would transform. Your lives would transform. Even if you got it, if you ate 10 things a day, but the amount of ingredients you ate was 20, you would be a whole lot better than you are right now. And how do you do that? If it's part of an animal, so the meat of the animal. If it comes from an animal, so the eggs, milk, cheese. And if it comes from the earth. If it grows out of the ground, if it's part of an animal or came from an animal. If you start with just that, how do I transition to that? Make a plan and say, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. And you do it slowly and transition a little at a time, a little at a time. But most of you just try to live your lives holding on to the things that cause you all the problems in the first place. Because in your mind, you can't possibly think about living without these things. And yet, they're your best friend and your murderer at the same time. There's no one that has proven in the last year, more than I have, that food is medicine. How you eat will transform your health. And I can't make you grasp this. The only way you will ever grasp this is by implementing. Because once you feel what it feels like to eat this way, you'll realize you have been a slave all this time to certain foods that you thought you couldn't live without. At every stage of my journey, I thought that there was something I couldn't live without. At every single stage. When I first started, I held on to my old life and I decided what I couldn't live without. I lost some weight. Then the scale stopped moving. And then I decided, well, you know what? Maybe I need to start trading off stuff. I'll trade one of these stuff from my old life to something new that would be considered more healthy. So I traded a bunch of foods in. And I introduced a bunch of new food. And the scale started moving again until it stopped. And that's when I said, okay, now it's time to get moving in the exercise part of this. And I created a plan to introduce exercise into my life. And the scale started moving again. It moved for a very long time after that. Once I introduced exercise into my life, it moved a very long time before I had to worry about it again. And then April of 2023, I come to the realization that I have been dancing back and forth for the past 10 months in the exact same spot and not making any real progress. So I could tell the world I was on a plateau and wait, or I could do something else. And that's what I chose to do, something else. I opened a book and started reading what I didn't know about nutrition. And that gave me a bunch of questions. Every single question I had was basically answered by what was in the book. And then at the end of reading that book, the question became, how do I implement this in my life? I came up with a plan. I implemented it. The scale has been moving since. And in the process, I was introduced to a skin condition, which caused me to change the food probably sooner than I would have. I would not have probably made this transition to eating carnivore without this condition. And by this time, I had changed my outlook so many times on how I eat. I would say that every change I've made in the process has prepared me for this moment. My entire journey, the past over 5+ years at this point, almost 5.5 years, has been one long transition to get to where I am now. Every single step, almost guided. I didn't plan this, it just kind of happened here. For all I know, it was intervention that I would come to all these realizations. Maybe it was divine intervention, that all of these situations would present themselves to me. And because I'm such a logical thinker, and because I'm such an analytical mind, I come up with these theories. And because I did the one thing that so many people don't bother doing, I had built my entire foundation based on a work ethic that I had such confidence in that I literally was willing to take any risk at any given moment, knowing that I could just go back to what I was doing before and it would be all right. Even if I gained a bunch of weight in the process of experimenting in this, I could just go back to what I was doing before and lose it all. I can say to you honestly, I have never regretted any experiment I've ever have tried. And I thank God every day for the foundation of the work ethic I created. Because I firmly believe that if you guys created the same foundation, such confidence in what you do, your possibilities would be endless. The sky is literally the limit of what you can accomplish. But it starts with you building the foundation. You can build your castles in the sky as long as the foundations touch the ground. Look, I probably sound like a broken record. I talk about this often. Everything I said today, it's not the first time I've said it. But I won't ever stop saying it because I firmly believe in it. And if you could do something so simple as I said here today, if you can manage to transition your lifestyle to eat single ingredient foods as often as possible. Remember, I told you you don't have to be perfect. So what if you applied the same 97% mentality to this? If 97% of your meals were single ingredient foods, something that comes from an animal, something that is part of an animal, something that comes from the ground, what does that even look like? It looks like if you eat 3 times a day, 7 days a week, 21 meals a week, 97% is 19 meals. If you could eat single ingredient foods for 19 meals a week, the other meals will not matter. It's that simple. Your life would transform for something that is so simple and simplistic in theory. See, all of this is amazingly simplistic. It is that black and white. The problem is, you want to believe that it's much more complex. Everybody wants to believe, no, my life is different. I'm more a difficult person to deal with. No, you just don't want to. Because it all is that simplistic. And the stuff you think you can't live without isn't even really food, the overwhelming majority of it. So if you could just let go, start to let go, start to transition your life to eat a single ingredient food, every single food, whole food, real food. If you can manage that, the world is yours. Everything you want is at the tip of your fingers. You are only limited by what you are willing to do. Every single one of you is capable. The question will always be forevermore, are you willing? I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.